Noise from music that's too loud, lighting that's too bright or too dim, a room that's too cold or too hot. All of these things can ruin the experience of smoking a cigar. But have you ever thought about how those same things might affect the making of a cigar? Well, we did, and once you hear what we discovered, you won't think about a cigar factory in the same way again. One of the conversations that Esteban and I keep returning to is employee comfort and focus, overall satisfaction as well. But because you pay somebody to make cigars, you're not just paying them to make cigars, you're really just paying for their attention while making cigars. They know how to do this in their sleep, they're so good at it. And focus is fragile. If you've ever been driving and hunting for your exit on the highway and you turn down the music just to think so you can see a little bit clear, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that does that, then you know exactly what I mean. That moment got us thinking one simple question. If noise can distract you in a car, what's it doing to somebody handcrafting a cigar all day long? Here in Nicaragua, there's a law that covers workplace conditions. It's called Law 618. It sets standards for lighting, temperature, and noise inside of factories just like ours. We brought in assessors, actually professional consultants that we pay, and we passed with flying colors. The only change we needed was a little line or boundary line around the manufacturing area. Everything else checked out perfectly fine. But we still felt like there was a problem here to solve because something didn't set right with us. In our rolling room, we can have more than 20 people here working all at the same time. The room wasn't overly loud, but it echoed a little bit and conversations bounced off the walls and tools clicked. Sounds started stacking on top of sounds. Around the room were these big, ugly windows. I had a hunch that they were part of the problem, so we turned the problem into a project. We began prototyping a solution, several designs with the goal to absorb noise without disturbing the work taking place. We landed on something simple and effective. 1.5 inches of cotton-based sound absorption around the room, well, key areas of the room. So why are we using cotton? Because these panels live in the same room where we process tobacco. We sort tobacco in this room. They need to be able to breathe to be effective, the panels do. They need to be safe for handling, and they need to be able to handle humidity. And some of those insulating panels are just not designed to do that. We're fortunate here in Nicaragua that there's textile companies that produce hats and t-shirts. They generate a lot of scrap. That scrap is often sold off for things like punching bags and low-cost mattresses. So we purchased more than 450 pounds of that material. We then interlaced and packed that cotton into these 6 acoustic absorbing panels. Each panel was built to cover the window openings and seal the room harmonically. So a quick note about this. This is different from sound diffusion that you often see. Diffusion scatters sounds. We wanted to actually absorb the sound frequencies. We wanted to pull several decibels out of the room and make the sound field sharper overall. In a cigar factory, it's not a common project to do this type of thing. For our craftsmen, it was a first, and that made it pretty exciting, actually. Nestor, the man who built the panels, was quite enthused by the whole idea. The change was measurable. We saw about a 6 decibel reverberation drop in the room, and that was a big shift for a room this size. The sound isn't just quieter, it's cleaner. Conversations across the room arrive much cleaner with less chaotic, less echo, exactly the type of focus that we were aiming for. And personally, I think these panels look absolutely stunning. The room feels warmer when you stand in it. Right away, employees started telling us that the room felt darker. That is a classic cross-modal perception effect. Change one sense, like hearing, and you can alter the perception of how someone might perceive another sense, such as sight, which in this case, that's actually a good thing. In practice, people were locking in faster. We immediately got requests for more lighting, which is awesome, which told us our attention levels in the room were improving. So there are some extra treatments here. We also added sound diffusion panels on roughly 15% of walls in the room, and we plan to add R19 in the ceiling when we shut down for winter break because it's not currently there. Street noise from the outside has virtually disappeared. During a recent sporting event, a single cell phone was loud enough for everyone in the room to hear the game, and I thought that was really pretty awesome. Will we ever be able to measure a direct change in the cigars themselves from these changes? Probably not. But if Esteban and I hear one comment that the room is more comfortable to work in, then it's probably worth doing, because comfort creates focus, and focus is a quiet ingredient in every single cigar that we make. If this kind of behind the scenes work matters to you, stick around. We're gonna keep sharing what we learn as we build a better place to make great cigars. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Smoke Domain Cigars, and check in with us next time.